So this right hand, especially at two critical places, one during the takeaway and two during delivery, should be pointed slightly down from level. Now there's a second part that goes in with that, which is the wrist extension. And that's why I really like the trainer, right, with bending the wrist back. So the right hand points down, but where the hand will point also is associated with wrist extension. Death moves, killer moves, right hand pointed up with a wrist that's too flat. Now, as I point my right hand down to fix that, notice my wrist will also bend back. That's my extension. And that's really what I want to feel. Palm down, notice there's going to be no clicks here for me early. I don't want a lot of that early. Now, from here to the top is when I do it. Club head's outside my hands, slightly tilted down. Now I'm going to create it. Bend it back about 90% of the way. Palm points up and away, face matches that. Just a little bit more bending back in transition. Palm points slightly down, toe slightly in front of the heel, and then I want to transport that in and through the ball. That'll be the easiest way, right, to do this thing and play golf. All right, guys, before we get into today's video about how your right hand works and the moves that you must avoid, I want to talk to you about something that can really help you have your right hand move how it needs to, and that's this precision impact training aid. Now, there's going to be a 4th of July sale that's going to run from July 5th through today all the way through Sunday, July 10th, where you get $35 off the training aid. But more importantly, there's a 365-day money-back guarantee. Now, that guarantee is not going to be the case after this sale. It's going to go back to how it was before. So if you want to try this risk-free for a full year, why wouldn't you? You have to pick this up by this Sunday. We're going to put the link in the description down below. You know I love this. Hopefully you saw the lesson with Daniel, which we use this, and you're going to see today's video, which I use it. Highly, highly, highly recommend. We got awesome, awesome, awesome stories of players using this to transform their game. Would love for you to be the next one. We're gonna put that link in the description down below. So there's one move with your right hand that you have to absolutely avoid if you want a golf swing that's consistent, shows up day to day out on the golf course where it matters. And that's learning where your right hand should point. Okay, the killer move, the death move in the golf swing is having your right hand point too much up towards the sky with your right wrist too flat. So anytime I have it point up towards the sky with a flat right wrist, that's a huge no-no. Now, what that does, and sort of how I want you to think about your right hand and where your palm points is, it basically controls the club head and controls the club face. So where my right hand and palm point, as does the club face throughout my entire swing. So if my right hand's pointed up, my club's pointed up. If my right hand's pointed down, my club's pointed down. So what we want to have for a club face, we know throughout the swing, we want to have the toe being slightly in front of the heel. That's going to help have a square club face so we can deliver the club to impact how we want on the way down. So this right hand, especially at two critical places, one during the takeaway and two during delivery, should be pointed slightly down from level. Now, there's a second part that goes in with that, which is the wrist extension. And that's why I really like the trainer, right, with bending the wrist back. So the right hand points down, but where the hand will point also is associated with wrist extension. Death moves, killer moves, right hand pointed up with a wrist that's too flat. Now, as I point my right hand down to fix that, notice my wrist will also bend back. That's my extension. And that's really what I want to feel. I want to feel my right hand point slightly down during the takeaway with just a little bit of wrist extension. Then I want to bend my right wrist back and have my hand point on about a 45-degree angle. Then when I come down, I still want my right wrist bent back, and I want the hand to point slightly down from parallel. What I see on CogornoGolf.com a lot with the initial members who are struggling is they have the opposite pattern. They have the palm pointed up, wrist is flat, wrist too flat, palm pointed towards like my head, and then palm pointed up. And at all points, if that mirrors the club face, that means that the toe is going to be too far behind the heel, the face is going to be too open. When we look at a good swing pattern, and what I want to have happen in there is not a lot of wrist extension. I don't like having the wrist extended so fast right away. I would do not a lot of that by the time my hands get past my thigh. Palm points slightly down, club face points slightly down, club head slightly outside my hands. But then as I come down, as that wrist extension's in, see how that gets the club head more inside my hands, but my palm's still pointed down towards the ground slightly. Okay, slightly. It's a little bit grip dependent. Palm down, right wrist fairly flat here still. Palm down, right wrist bent back. That's the movement pattern that we want to learn here. And as I'm doing that when I'm swinging, that's the feel that I want to have in here to have the club face in a position that's good to go down through impact. So for me, when I'm hitting shots, I like to just hit little baby draw, something like that. So that's a little bit of a left miss, 15 feet left, but pretty much that's the ball flight that I want to have. If I do the air here, which I don't want you to see, or don't want you to do, which is palm up, right wrist flat, even if I just do it during the takeaway, palm up towards the sky, see how that gets the club head inside my hands with the toe behind the heel. I see this all the time. Palm up, club head inside the hands, face is open, and then when they come down, the palm's up. Okay, so palm up to palm up, if I do that the best I can, that's going to have the face that's more open, weaker contact, more right misses, and more inconsistent. So I mean, I exaggerated that there, but look at that ball flight. Okay, so that ball went probably 30, 40 yards. I don't know how far I hit the first one, but probably 30 to 40 yards farther or shorter with the palm up, face is 8.6 open to the pass. So big right misses. I see that a lot. Then that starts to get in there. That creates all kinds of other swing faults. That's the whole point here. Let's set up a swing that's consistent day to day that you can count on and repeat on. And that starts by palm down, right wrist bent back. Now, how I personally like to train this, right, and this is part of this sale that we're doing here with this, to give you guys, some of you that I know this will really help if you just get over the ledge and go ahead and get this and try this out, is as the palm points down, you need to feel like that right wrist is bending back. And there's timing of it that I think is really important, right? So I like the timing wise to where it's not that bent back early, but then it's very bent back at the top and in transition. So that's really where I like to use this to train it in. So when you get one of these and you put it on here, obviously the main thing here that we're looking at is it bending back, creating the extension and keeping it. So I like to just add the little reference of where my palm is going to point as I'm doing that. So palm down, notice there's going to be no clicks here for me early. I don't want a lot of that early. Now from here to the top is when I do it. Club head's outside my hands, slightly tilted down. Now I'm going to create it, bend it back about 90% of the way, palm points up and away, face matches that. Just a little bit more of bending back in transition, palm points slightly down, toe slightly in front of the heel, and then I want to transport that in and through the ball. That'll be the easiest way, right, to do this thing and play golf. So control that palm down early, palm down later with that right wrist bent back up to the top. Let's go ahead and do one. Palm down, right wrist bent back, palm down, right wrist bent back. And just start by controlling the beginning part. Control the hand pointing down on the way back and the hand pointing down on the way through. And you know what I'm looking for ball flight wise is fairly square. Little tiny draws from there are fine. But the point being, what I don't want to do and what could absolutely ruin your swing is if your hand and palm point too far freaking up towards the sky. So if nothing else, make sure, like, check yourself during your takeaway and see, okay, wow, my glove logo and my palm point up towards the sky, club face is too open. Unless you've got a really strong grip, you want to feel like the back of the hand, the palm points slightly down, and then they point slightly down. Slightly down, slightly down. So check that in your own swing. Monitor that in your swing. If you're having trouble with club face control, consistency, etc. If you're not sure what you're supposed to feel and how to train it, this is where this precision impact is so good. It's the best trainer that I've found. And obviously we have that deal going on for you guys to try and, for those of you who I know need this, to give you a little extra incentive there. You have 365 days to try it and a little bit more money off there. So grab one of these, the link's down below. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions on how this works, how it works with other clubs. Let us know what you think about the video. As always, you guys have any questions or comments. If you like the video, clicking that like button always helps us out, and we appreciate you guys watching.